Dr. Lanier, again, I'd like to thank you for coming down and giving us your remembrances of what it was like when you were one of the first tenants in the Nazarella building here at 2720 Park Street. Remember Frank the barber? He used to be downstairs.
Yeah.
Well, he told me he remembered your wife bringing your son down there and cutting his hair.
Yeah. Jimmy liked to have a diaper. I had him fall in love with a diaper instead of a blanket, because you can change your diapers with a blanket. It's going to be that one the rest of his infancy. So he sat down in the chair to get his hair cut, reached over to the barber and snatched his towel off his belt and papered that the whole time he's cutting his hair.
That's right. Well, now, were you born in Jacksonville?
Yes. Old Riverside Hospital, March the 29th, 1918. World War I was still going on.
Remember when they built the one-story building and put the street lights in on the corner?
Yeah. I even remember when they started and built the Baptist church over there.
That was about, what, 1926?
I think that's right.
So you'd have been about 8 years old.
Yeah.
Well, they built the one-story building in 1927, if I'm correct.
The drugstore?
Yeah. When it was built, it was a Bennett drugstore. It was on the corner.
It started off as Bennett's.
Yeah. And then the Whiteway Delicatessen was immediately next to the drugstore. It was like a store down from the corner part of, second store down from the corner. But that's how we envisioned how it looked in 1927 when the one-story building was finished.
That's about right.
But tell me about the lights. Those lights were every 20 feet. Was that unusual in Jacksonville at the time?
Oh, I guess so. I have no idea where anybody else's lights were. But that's when it got the name, the Great Whiteway. Those lights started at Post and Park, down in Five Points, at where the Presbyterian Church is now. They came through the business section and out this way to King Street, I think. And they were lighted at night, and that's when it picked up the nickname, the Great Whiteway, after Broadway in New York.
Well, Mr. Nazarella, when he built the one-story building in 1927, he put those street lights in approximately every 20 feet, which was an unusual thing to space them that close together.
I think on the property down from here to Five Points, it was a little further apart.
And he called this Whiteway Corner, and they put on the corner where it sheared off and where that door is, the entrance into the drugstore, they put a tile, and they have a logo that says Whiteway Corner.
Now, before World War II came the Great Depression. And I remember that. Real estate went sky high, and all of a sudden you couldn't sell it.
That sounds familiar.
Oh, exactly. And I told my wife about a year ago, I said, this is exactly what happened in '29. And then the Great Depression was ended by World War II. I don't mean by the time World War II started. It was what ended the Depression. Because I went through high school at Lee and off to college, and man, it was tight. I didn't spend but $810 a whole first year in college.
So was that at Vanderbilt?
At Vanderbilt in Nashville, Tennessee, and that includes travel back and forth.
You had an outstanding academic career, I believe, at Vanderbilt when you graduated. I understand you were a Phi Beta Kappa, is that correct?
Yes. That was a purposeful thing. I was sitting around in a big chemistry class, horsing around with my buddies and giggling and laughing. And it suddenly occurred to me that my folks were at home canceling magazine subscriptions and eating light and putting me to school. So I quit all that fooling around, moved to the front row of classes, and really went to work.
So when did you graduate from medical school?
42.
And when did you marry your wife?
42. The next day.
And then what happened to your career?
Well, I had to do a year internship. Vanderbilt had an ROTC for the doctors, one of 25 in the whole country. So when I got my degree, MD, I automatically was the first lieutenant in the medical corps.
So when did you come back to Florida, to Jacksonville, to practice medicine?
49.
And then you came, was this the first office building that you looked at?
Yeah. The only one.
Well, what was it that made you wanted to locate your office on Whiteway Corner in the Nazareth building?
In those days, it was important to put your office on a public transportation route because most people didn't have a car. And they couldn't come to the doctor any other way besides a bus, sometimes a streetcar. Now, by then, 49, Park Street had the bus system on it, public transportation.
I understand became one of the first tenants of the office building when the office building was built in 1949. Is that correct?
Yes, I think. I know I was the first one in that particular office over there because I came in and went in and told Mr. Nasrallah how I'd like to have it fixed, and we fixed it that way, and there wasn't any walls up or floor down or anything, and he fixed it for me, and I moved in.
And did you meet Mr. Nasrallah?
Yeah.
Now, which Mr. There were two.
Yeah.
Weren't there?
Yeah. A younger brother who did most of the legwork, and then old A. Nasrallah who did most of the whatever other work there was, but he didn't run down to get this at the post office and that at the. He was right here most of the time, and he was walking around with a yardstick and a piece of paper, string paper like a tape measure, and he'd hold it up to the air conditioner ducts to see if it was blowing around.
What was he like as a person?
Oh, he was a character. He was a big talk, big acts, and a typical big man with big man ideas. And he was a good guy. I liked him.
What was his younger brother?
Well, he was more quiet and a smaller fellow, and I can't remember his name right off.
I think it was AK, wasn't it?
Yeah, AK, that's right. Both of them were pleasant people as long as things were going right. But he didn't mind telling me if you do this or so and so and so, you get into trouble with that, you know. And he did all of my adjustments for what I wanted. If I wanted to move this wall or establish a new room or something, he's the man I went to see.
That would be AK?
When you get to be my age, your ideal becomes a hound dog who can lay down and take a nap.